The story of a man Allah has been rejecting his Hajj for 40 years. What was his offense? What made his Hajj to be rejected by Allah for good 40 years? It was reported by Malik bin Dinar who said, بين أنا أطوف بالبيت الحرام وقد أعجبني كثرة الحجاج والمعتمرين فقلت يا ليت شعري من المقبول منهم فأهنيه ومن المردود منهم فأعزيه. Malik ibn Dinar said, while I was circumambulating the sacred house during the period of Hajj, I was amazed by the large number of pilgrims and the Umrah performers. So I said to myself, I wonder which of them will be accepted by Allah so that I can congratulate them, and which of them will be rejected so that I can console them. When the night approaches, Malik ibn Dinar slept, and he saw in his dream a voice saying that the pilgrims and the Umrah performers, Allah has forgiven them all, both the young and the old, the males and the females, except the one man. Allah the Most High is angry with him, and Allah has rejected his pilgrimage and turned away from him. Malik ibn Dinar woke up with a heavy heart and anxiety. He was afraid that perhaps it might be that man. When it was the second night, he saw in his dream something similar to the first dream, except that it was said to him, you are not that man, but he is from Khurasan. His name is Muhammad bin Harun al-Balkhi. When Malik woke up, he quickly went to the tribe of Khurasan and asked the people about this man. He said, who is your brother by the name Muhammad bin Harun? And the people of Khurasan said to Malik, you are asking about a man who there is no one more pious or more ascetic or more knowledgeable than him in Khurasan. Malik became amazed by this beautiful praise people gave this man, which is in contrary to what he saw in his dream. So he said, please guide me to him. They said, for 40 years he has been fasting during the day and praying at night, and he does not take refuge except in uncompleted buildings. We think he is in the uncompleted buildings of Mecca. So Malik started wandering around the uncompleted buildings, and behold, he saw an old man standing behind the wall. And behold, his right hand was hanging around his neck, and he has bound it with two great chains to his feet, while he was kneeling and prostrating. When this man heard the whispers of Malik's feet, he said, who are you? Malik said, I am Malik ibn Dinar. He said, oh Malik, what brought you to me? If you've seen a dream, tell it to me. Malik said, I am too shy to say it. He said, say it. So Malik told him about what he saw in his dream, and he cried bitterly for a long time. And he said to Malik, you are not the first person to tell me this. Year in, year out, I perform Hajj, and every year some pious men come to me and give me this bad news. Malik then asked him, what happened? What was your offense? He said, I was a man who drank a lot of alcohol during my youthful age. That one day, شربت خمرا عند خدم لي. I drank alcohol at the house of my friend until I became drunk and lost my mind. I then went to my house and met my mother lighting a light for us at home. When she saw me, أتمايل في مشي. When she saw me swaying from my drunkenness, I was walking and I was stumbling. She said to me, هذا آخر يوم من شعبان وأول يوم من رمضان يصبح الناس صواما وتصبح سكرانا. This is the last day of Sha'ban and the first night of Ramadan. People go to bed with the intention of fasting the next day, and you go to bed being drunk. أما تستحي من الله? Aren't you ashamed before Allah? I then raised my hand towards her to hit her, and she nudged it. She then said to me, may you be miserable. I became angry at what she said and carried her at the state of being drunk and threw her into the oven till she got burnt. Subhanallah. When my wife later discovered what happened, she took me into the house and locked the door behind me. When it was the end of the night, my drunkenness had gone. I then called my wife to open the door. She answered me with a harsh answer. I said to her, woe to you, what is this harshness all about? She said, you don't deserve that I should have mercy on you. I said, why? What was my offense? She said, you killed your mother. You threw her into the oven and she got burned. So I then went out to the oven and it was like a burnt loaf of bread. I became so sad and I went out and gave my money in charity. I freed all my slaves. For 40 years I had been fasting during the day and praying at night and performing Hajj every year. Every year, if I should set my feet for Hajj, a voice will call out and say, your Hajj will not be accepted. When Malik ibn Dinar heard this man's story, he was shocked and he rebuked this man and said to him, you will surely not be forgiven. Malik ibn Dinar then went away from him so that he could hear his voice but not see his face. Muhammad ibn Harun then raised his hands to the sky and said, لا ملجأ ولا منجأ من الله إلا إليه يا فارج الهم وكاشف الغم تجيب دعوة المضطرين أعوذ برضاك من سخطك وبمعافاتك من عقوبتك. Muhammad bin Harun raised his hands to the sky saying, there is no refuge nor shelter from Allah except to Allah. O reliever of distress and remover of sorrow, you answer the prayers of the needy. I seek refuge in your pleasure from your wrath and what has passed you by of your punishment. Do not cut off my hope and avoid my prayers. Malik said, I went back to my house and retired to my bed. And I saw in a dream a voice saying, O Malik, do not make people despair of the mercy of their Lord, for Allah has answered his prayer and has forgiven him. Return to him, O Malik, and inform him that Allah has forgiven him. This is the story of Muhammad bin Harun. So by this story, we need to be dutiful and kind to our parents. And we should also know that no matter how great the evils and the sins we've committed, we should not lose hope in the mercy of Allah. For verily Allah is the most merciful.